They chose their king, their power was met, but we don't answer to Ottawa yet. No crown gave us what we've earned, just dirt and fire and lessons learned. Now the ground it shakes, the steel it groans, and Alberta walks alone. We ride sovereign steel through fire, through frost. We ain't the last, we're the line they lost. Alberta stands, never on its knees. A nation born in the forge of the free. From the rigs to the rails, the crops to the code, we lit their streets, we bore their load. They laughed at pride, they mocked the West, but freedom don't die, it just waits for the test. The cowboys ride, the farmers rise, 5 million strong under open skies. No leash, no lie, no foreign throne. This land is steel and it stands alone. We ride sovereign steel through fire, through frost. We ain't the last, we're the line they lost. Alberta stands, never on its knees. A nation born in the forge of the free. Can't kill the mountain, can't drown the plain, can't burn the spirit that won't be chained. He stares down east with a calloused hand and says, this time we draw the line in the land. We ride sovereign steel through fire, through frost. We ain't the last, we're the line they lost. Alberta stands, never on its knees. A nation born in the forge of the free.
Welcome to 7-Eleven Daily Summary. It's Bruce Show, and I'm excited to be here. Excited for this time. What an extraordinary time. I continue to say that just because it is. We are living through some amazing things happening. If you say it's a slow day in news, you might not be paying attention. Anyway, we are here. Like I said, I'm excited to be here with you, coming to you from the greatest province of the world. This is from Alberta. And I have a great guest. I reached out to him and said, hey, we got to do a show because we've got an election coming up. I know you probably didn't think that there was one, but the UCP AGM is coming up, and I have one of our candidates for the president of the UCP board of, you know what, he's going to tell us, because I continue to mess it up, but I'm hopeful that he was going to come on here and show us why he needs to be the UCP president, the president of the Conservative Party. I'm messing it up completely, but you know what? I'm excited to have him here. We're going to go through it. We're going to have a great conversation, and you will not be disappointed. So make sure to share this information out there. Get some more eyeballs on it, as we always need to wake more people up. And I appreciate you being here. I am so excited to have my next guest. I'm not going to reveal his name, but you may have seen it already. And because I always want to say thank you I want to say thank you to the people that surround me. I want to say thank you to the challenges that we have overcome over the last 5 years or so, even more for me. But I want to say thank you to my friends and my family, the people that have surrounded me, and especially over the last 5 years and what we've gone through. One of the things I also want to say thank you to is nuggetstacker.com. They have been with me and supported me. But for your family, I do suggest, and I'm not your financial advisor, but I do suggest holding gold and silver because it will protect your wealth. So give them a call. You have any questions? If you've never done it before, it's a great time to start. 866-644-2121. Nugget Stacker. It's a local business. You can support them right here in Calgary, in Alberta, and give them a call for any questions. Get a silver and gold subscription. Great way to start. All right, we're going to get into it. We're going to unscrew some news, and I am so grateful that you are here. But we are coming to you from the heart of the battle-ready nation of Alberta. We bring you truth and optimism, and our goal is to break free from the media and the globalist mind control. This is October 7th, 2025, and this is episode number 215. I have Mr. Darrell Komick for president, and he is joining me. He is an entrepreneur, so Calgary-based entrepreneur and conservative in Alberta. He embodies values deeply rooted in local sustainability and grassroots governance, encapsulated in the ethos of farm to table and people to legislature. I want to welcome Darrell Komick. Thank you so much for joining me, sir. It is such a pleasure to have you. I am honored to have you here, and I am excited to have you running for this this great position with the UCP party.
Thank you, Bruce. It's great to be here. It's really nice to talk to your audience and to share the message of how strong Alberta Conservatives are, but also what we need to be and how we need to go about operating every day as Conservatives in order to to tell people and show people how successful conservative values are.
Well, I wanted to have you on because we have this AGM coming up. And you and I are of the same frame of mind, is that we have a little bit of work to do to make sure that we are protecting Albertans, our families, our generations to come. And so I think that this is, to me, I'm a bit hopeful of this AGM that's coming up. I honestly, I had sort of given up, and maybe it's a lot like other Albertans. I'd sort of given up on the UCP party, and then when I realized that the AGM was coming up, and somebody had suggested, I don't know who it was, maybe it was you, but had suggested that we might be able to steer what's going on in the UCP party a bit better by joining the AGM. So, do you want to tell us a little bit about that, about the AGM and why people should be joining and not giving up on this, on where we are today?
I think it's amazing that the Alberta Conservative Party is able to work with everybody. It's a very big tent. There's a lot of voices inside United Conservatives, and so the AGM, which is coming up here at the end of the month, November the 28th to 29th and 30th. It's going to focus on accountability of our policies, and the Premier will speak to that. The leader will get up there and she'll articulate in her brilliant, eloquent way exactly the accomplishments we've had for the year and the challenges too. I mean, we're a party that allows for conversation. We're a party that says, "Hey, can I talk about controversial issues that need input? Do we want to talk about something that is on our minds?" And I think that's the beauty of being a conservative is, we are free thinkers. At the end of the day, we may know or not know exactly the answers, but we will continue to seek out the truth in order to do what's right for Alberta and for our families.
Well, that is the great thing. You and I were having a little bit of a discussion before we hit record, and obviously, it seems like sometimes the Liberals and the NDP they always have their talking points and they seem very slick, and I guess that is one of the good and bad things. It's a double-edged sword as far as conservatives are concerned, because we do question, and we believe that our politicians. I think that most people as conservatives believe that our politicians are there to work for us. And I think that we have to continue to direct, push, and question some of those decisions. So I think it's really healthy, that we are getting back to that. Maybe again, this AGM. I mean, the AGMs this is going to be my third, and I'm really, really grateful for some of the insistence by other people in and around my community or our community, to get engaged. And anybody that's watching that hasn't gotten engaged, you really do need to, stand up and fight for what you want.
Well, I think that the heart of that is policy. Everyone has an idea of what should be done and how it should be done. But conservatives can agree that there are important policies that are the foundation, and that's where it starts, right? Everything, even that becomes legislation, starts as a policy somewhere. So it might be something that's initiated by the party, might be initiated by private sector, or just concerns that people have, geopolitical tensions that are out there. Everything starts with policy. And the great thing about the UCP convention is that we will discuss policy. We will vote on policies. We've been going through, every year we go through about an 8-month process of writing policy. I mean, tens of thousands of hours are spent by conservatives coming up with really good ideas in order to help and support and direct the party itself. So then the party, we whittle that down. I think this year we had 850 some policies. We whittled it down to the top 300. Then it got down to the top 150, and then as a membership, we voted to say which ones did we want to bring forward to the AGM to have a discussion and to vote for if it would become party policy. And those policies actually are incredibly relevant. A couple of years ago, Calgary-Lougheed, which is my constituency, Eric Bouchard's our MLA, and we have a great team there. We came up with a policy that related to getting rid of child pornography in schools. And now you see that come to fruition. We had a policy that talked about parental rights that came to fruition. So you have to have a direction that you want to go. You need to point your ship in that direction, and you need to manifest where you want to be. And when you're doing something that's good for the province and for our families here in Alberta, you have to consider a lot of factors, but at the same time, you have to say, hey, if we do nothing, nothing happens. If we get engaged in a positive way, then we can have some really meaningful outcomes. And I think we feel that there's been a lot of success that way.
Fantastic. So, Darrell, just a little bit of your background, because I don't know you well enough to be able to understand everything. I know that you're an entrepreneur and you run the business at Fresh and Local down in Avenida. And you've done that for a number of years. But it seems like, and this is just my perspective, but again, I don't know you well enough. But were you always involved in politics, or is that something that you really just sort of ramped up over the last 5 years?
Certainly the last 5 years has been intense to be involved in politics. I was involved in politics a lot as a youth. I remember my very first campaign was in 1972. I was also involved in on-campus politics for the Young Conservatives. I was involved in constituency association politics in Alberta a lot. When I lived here, I moved away for a while and come back. But I've always been interested in the governing of people, because I think that, when you have a lot of good opportunities for something as vast and rich as Alberta, that, we have to have good foundational principles. And that's what really attracts me to the conservative values, that these are the values of entrepreneurs. These are the values of immigrants. These are the values of families. This is why people come here, which is to better their life in Alberta. So we need a framework. And when you have a good government that's conservative, you end up with a framework for success. And that framework for success means that there is wealth. And that wealth means that you can invest in schools, you can invest in hospitals, you can invest in your people. You can invest in infrastructure. So when you're creating and have that sense of entrepreneurism, it's a culture in and of itself. And I realize, having lived in other places in Canada, that Alberta is incredibly unique, because here, if you have the opportunity to do something, you go out and do it, and you try, and you give it a go. And when you give it a go, you can have a success at it. But if you're just going to sit at the couch and complain about it and worry, then nothing ever happens. And then you get a lot of folks to say, well, I can't change it. Well, are you engaged? Well, no, someone else will do that for me. So I've always been a person that believed in initiative and in getting it rolling. And I'm happy to walk the talk.
Just for not shits and giggles, but I want to bring up your website here because I think it's awesome. And this is I thought it was a great picture that someone, maybe it's just Chat GPT or some AI image that somebody put together, but I think it's awesome and a great website. So if you're interested in finding out more about Darrell Komick, it's komick.org. And what is the role that you're running for? Just because I messed it up completely.
Yeah, no, that's okay. I sometimes it's a bit of a tongue twister, but I'm running as president of the provincial board for the United Conservative Party of Alberta. So this is the group that helps quarterback policy. It's certainly the group that reflects the governing party or the government right now, which is UCP government. And so there's a lot of support that's given by the party to help our MLAs get elected, to talk about policy, to engage in our communities. So I want to run as the leader of the members, not the leader of the party. That's Danielle Smith, Premier Danielle Smith. She's the leader of the party. I am running to be the president, which really quarterbacks the membership.
I see. So this is off topic, and I didn't really ask you. It's not off topic, but do you know how many people have already signed up for the AGM? Because that's exciting. I mean, it's been
I just saw a number here recently, maybe as early as this morning. It was well over 3,600. There's 5 regions to the province, and we have a fairly even split of who's coming from south. Calgary, Central, Edmonton, Northern region. Obviously, the AGM's up in Edmonton, so you tend to have a few more closer to home, which is certainly indicative of what we've got right now. But we get a big involvement. We get great engagement, and it's been a lot of fun because 4 years ago, convention had like 1,200 people. Last year in Red Deer, we had 6,000 people. It was like the largest political gathering of a convention. It was larger than the federal Conservative convention. So people here in Alberta are very engaged, and we're engaged in between elections, not just at election time. And I think that's what makes the UCP a very unique organization, is that it's a living organism and it's always involved.
In regard to conservatism, and we're talking about oh shoot, it's not really a question that I want to say. It's more like a statement. But we have this mentality that we want to be left alone, that we want small government, that we want to just go out and you're an entrepreneur, you're a business owner. A lot of people in Alberta, you come to Alberta because you want this opportunity. You have a canvas, and you're like, okay, well, I'm going to go to Alberta because I have the ability to create, and they're going to encourage this and foster entrepreneurship, innovation, and that sort of thing. Do you think? How do we get? I think that people already understand that about Alberta. Am I wrong in that? Or
I think when people get off the plane here or they get across the border, I mean, it is literally different how we engage with people. There's an energy. It's charged here, right? It's kind of like something great is going to happen in Alberta, and we're blessed with some of the best natural resources in the entire world. I think I've heard it said that we have the most expensive piece of real estate in the world. In that, what is underneath Alberta is important. Our resources, our farmland is incredibly productive, but it's the people. Like Alberta people have this way of saying we're going to get it done, and so we have a real can-do attitude. And that helps us a lot. So you need the resources, but you need the intellect and the willingness to get the job. And that's what is a unique thing about Alberta. And for me, I'm a very member-centric person. I think that it's important to have strong membership in the UCP, but also remember, a strong membership in the UCP is going to help our MLAs. I mean, we got a lot of recalls happening, which is basically recall based on political ideology going on right now. And this whole idea of recalling your MLA because they want a slim margin and you don't like them because they're of a different party. This is not what recall legislation was intended to. It was intended for something very different. And so we get a lot of we're seeing a lot of abuse of the system because people are using what was meant to be something to improve accountability, but they're abusing it because it's becoming ideological, and that's a real challenge. And I think that there's a lot more conflict that's going to happen, but realize a strong membership in the UCP means that we got strong representation in these constituencies, which means that we can fight for our MLAs. We can ensure that they have the backing that they need. And if you read the recall legislation in Alberta, it's not so simple as just collecting signatures. You have to collect signatures by people who live in your riding or that riding. You have to have only people sign from your riding. You can only have funding if you need funding from people in your riding. So when you go do a GoFundMe campaign and someone sends you money from outside the riding, that's wrong. So that's the first part. Then you need to have a vote. There'll be a second stage, which is a vote to dispose of the MLA. And then after that, there's another vote for a by-election. So recall has a very high threshold. It's meant to have a very high threshold because you just can't abuse it. So I think we're seeing a lot of abuse of this because people are upset. The notwithstanding clause was used. I mean, Jason Stefan had a brilliant letter that he made open to people explaining specifically why the notwithstanding clause was necessary. And that was to prevent, federal judicial interference in the Alberta decision. And Section 33 of the Constitution allows that. And, everyone's saying, well, it's unconstitutional. Actually, it's exactly the opposite. It's totally constitutional. And when you look at, and I'm not a scholar on Quebec legislation, but from what I hear is more often than not, they use the notwithstanding clause to make it controlled by and focused for Quebecers in Quebec. So, the use of this notwithstanding clause had purpose. And I think, we saw that children were politicized. They were used as a battering ram for political ideology. And that's just wrong. That is incorrect. That shouldn't be done. And it was done and has been done. And so we need to realize that we need to take care of classes, of course. We need to have more teachers, of course. Teachers need to be fairly paid, of course. But, when you give them a 12% raise, small business is going to say, well, how am I going to get a 12% raise? How am I going to get a 31% raise, which is, I think, what they were asking for. But
31% over 3 or 4 years, I think.
So,
that's not realistic. I mean, we know that.
Right. So it's not sustainable. And, you only got so much money in the kitty to divvy up for everything. So we have to be realistic about that. And, teachers do have a really hard job. Classes are complicated. There is no doubt about that. And so we have to address the complexities. English as a second language, challenging students, cultural differences, intellect, good, bad, otherwise. And so these are things that need to be addressed. And, you boil that down, that is the responsibility of the local boards, school boards, and then it trickles up to the government. It doesn't necessarily have to trickle down to the government. So it's been left to the UCP government now to mandate issues down. And, that's too bad. It would be nice to have these resolutions on a local basis.
Darrell, it sounds like I know that you're very engaged in the process. So was there any of the, not resolutions, any of the, for the AGM. Anything that is coming down the pipe that you want to talk about? Any of the like you said last year, your constituency, you guys
Right.
came with some good policies. So,
Correct.
is there any policies that you want to just highlight that's coming up that you see would be a win for Albertans and Alberta first?
Yeah, I see quite a few actually. They just were released here about 25 minutes ago. So I was
Oh, is that right?
I was just right before we came on. I was skimming through them and the highlights there. I mean, I certainly saw one about making sure that we were able to fly, provincial and federal emblems at schools. I saw another one that talked about ensuring that the recommendations of the Gary Davidson report were implemented. I saw
okay.
another good one about ridding our water of fluoride in Alberta, which was particularly good. I saw another one that said that our MLA should, have an oath to Albertans, not just to the Crown, but to the people of Alberta. So I saw a lot of really good policy there. I saw one about raw milk. I saw, this is where I saw one, making churches essential services so that they can't be closed down.
Yeah.
This is the kind of thought. They're very thought provoking, and I think it's important for us to look through them. They're going to be published. You'll be able to go on the website, unitedconservative.ca, go to the AGM button. If you click down to policies and governance that's going to be discussed, it's all disclosed there for people to look at.
Okay, so I know that you're not running for a position as a politician to the people. You're running as for the presidency of the membership.
That's right.
But what does the UCP represent to Albertans? Because really, we want to build Alberta as a great province, and there's so much divide these days. The Nenshis, trying to, I believe, creating a crisis around the unions and the teachers. I think that there's, fuel being added to the fire by him and his party. But I don't really want to get into the divide. I want to say, how does the UCP address, and make people understand that we're working towards a greater province for all, not just for people that are conservative. Do you have any? Yeah.
Yeah. So it's funny you should say that, because basically what we're watching is a replay of lockdowns, right? So the problem is created, then the problem is amplified beyond belief, and then someone's going to ask for a solution to this problem, which is doesn't really satisfy anybody, particularly the people.
Right.
There'll be a special interest group or two that it will be relevant for, but not really for the good of the people. And so that's really what's happening. And we've just watching this play out. I mean, look at the poor ostriches that just were slaughtered. I mean, they haven't
Unbelievable.
These are scientific. This is an amazing scientific research reference material. I mean, they overcame the avian flu. So how was it that ostriches overcame the avian flu? What is it about their genome? I mean, we have incredible talent in Canada, like Dr. Bjorn Bridle from the University of Guelph, who studies this particular type of thing. And here was amazing lab specimens that were destroyed without any testing to determine. So that's not unlike the extension or the overextension of the federal bill 293, right? They're going to take your farmland and they're going to take your herd. So if you can't see that type of overreach, then you can't see the overreach that the NDP is forcing on this whole school issue here. Again, politicizing children, which that's kind of the lowest form of politics, is politicizing children. So why does the UCP offer a bright light to that? Because we're looking for a solution. We've got so many new families, immigrant families in Alberta. I'm not exactly sure what the number of people that came here was, but they tell me it was like the cities the size of Red Deer are coming regularly to Alberta. That's a lot of people. And so, you have to change. You have to adapt. I mean, you could never build schools fast enough. You just can't. And then what happens when they stop coming? What happens when somebody in the federal government finally decides, well, 1.4 million people seems like a lot. Maybe we can't We can't keep stressing everything to the max. I mean, healthcare, schools, roads, housing. So where is the source of the problem? The source of the problem isn't in Alberta. We're looking for solutions to the problem, and we're trying to deal with it as best we can. So I think the nice thing about United Conservative Party is it's a party of problem solvers. We're looking to solve problems, not create them. And so anytime you're on that path, we'll have lots of different paths to get to solving the problems. But the reality is that we have to be practical about those solutions.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So we haven't really talked about this yet, but I like the slogan that you have for Alberta First. Do you want to tell us a little bit about what the theory is and your thoughts around Alberta First?
Well, Alberta First, I think, is that when we have strong communities and we have a strong province, we can fairly represent and create wealth, and we can create opportunity for the people that live here. I mean, we had my CA created a town hall called the Courage to Listen. Courage to Listen was the one event that had 3,000 or 4,000 people watch it online. We had a couple 300 people there in person. But what we actually did is we created a framework for a sovereign Alberta within a united Canada. And so people could actually go in. You can still go to that website, thecouragetolisten.ca, and you can see that we had different groups across the political spectrum, across the practical spectrum, from whatever you might call left to the center to the right. And when we put that all together, we created this framework for a sovereign Alberta, and it allowed us to be there's 28 points in the plan. Plus, we worked with other groups that would give us submissions, and we came up with a fiscal plan to work with, and saw, what is the debate on sovereignty going to be like? There was a discussion on sovereignty and independence and what that meant for Alberta and for Albertans in particular, and how we might be able to save what's going on in Canada by promoting and talking specifically about sovereignty here, so that dialogue became second nature to people, and people would understand the pros and cons of both arguments.
Well, I'm finding that there's, and you're finding, because you're talking probably a lot more than I am about it, but that there's a lot of fear, as there always is when you're talking about something that's it's not revolutionary in the way that we're not going to be fighting over this with bullets and bombs, but it's revolutionary in the way that we have been a part of Canada for 125 years or 120 years, I guess. And now we want to say, okay, you know what, we're going to now say that this is important for us to protect this land and this way of life for generations to come in our area called Alberta. I mean, that's scary for a lot of people. So what do you think that the reasons, maybe you're hearing this from other people, what are they scared of in that process? What keeps them, on the fence or signing the petition to stay in Canada?
Well, I think the fear of the unknown always drives people. I think people would rather live in nostalgia than to look forward to what could be. Mm-hmm. I mean, if I look at the stats, there's somewhere we give an extra $70 billion to Ottawa, and that money should stay here in Alberta, and we could do so many things with it. There'd be even more wealth. People couldn't imagine how abundant it could be in Alberta if the governor was taken off of the top of our heads, and we were able to really shine. This discussion of staying or going, I don't think it's really the starting point of staying or going. But we should talk about what's good. What's good about staying in Canada? What would be the benefits of staying in Canada? What does that give Alberta? How does it give Alberta a competitive advantage in the world? What would leaving allow for? Sovereignty, what would that allow for? Can you be sovereign within Canada? I mean, Quebec has made that argument that they could be a sovereign nation within Canada. So, to fear having the conversation, and I think everybody understands this. To stay or to go, Alberta, we don't really matter when it comes to the federal election. We don't really matter when it comes to so many things, other than that we send money. Like we're the golden child. And without a card that says, look, the people of Alberta have said, look, we're going to negotiate in the best possible way. And that's to say, I'm holding this card that says that we have been mandated to have the best possible negotiation with Ottawa. And if we can't come to something reasonable, then the people of Alberta have agreed that we will explore what it means to be sovereign. And it seems to me, if you can't reduce your taxes and you can't get people to stop immigration, and you can't, because you just can't sustain it, you have to look elsewhere. And this is what free thinking does, and this is what people in Alberta are doing, is they're giving it some thought. And that conversation needs to occur because it's on everybody's mind. I think 65 to 70% of Albertans want to have this discussion. So let's have it.
Yeah. And let's not be afraid to have the conversation, because I think I think it's really healthy, obviously, to get excited, get excited, whatever your thoughts are, and make sure that we're having those conversations. I think it's really important. And I do stress that, being here and talking about it. So I'll talk about this in a second, but the Cowtown Showdown is coming up. I'm going to show the website for people to see that. That's coming up on November 10th, Monday. I guess it's right around the corner. Holy smokes!
That's coming up. Yeah. So, and I have to go to an appointment here just shortly, so I have to cut this short. We can come back another time. But the Cowtown Showdown is something we've done for 3 years. It allows all of UCP members, whether you're going to the convention or not, to listen to the candidates. I think right now 20 out of 25 candidates are confirmed to participate in the Cowtown Showdown. You get your tickets. You can get them at ucpcalgarylochie.ca. And Rob, good friend of mine, Rob Smith, he's running against me. I'm running against him for president of the party. And we'll be there. We'll be there live. We'll be interacting. You'll see what's common about our positions. You'll see what's different about our positions. But you'll get to see it and ask us directly, or not so much ask us, because there's moderators that have a lot of the questions. But we're going to go head to head, and we're going to have a little bit of fun. And it's always a good place to speak our minds, but also to share our vision. And I think that's what we want to do.
Well, it's always a great turnout for these events. I've been to most of them, and great people come out, and great opportunities to really express your concerns. So I know that we've been censored. We went through that period where you couldn't actually say what you meant. And here in Alberta, we're going to continue to say what we want. We're going to be uncensored, and we're going to have full-on conversations about, do we stay? Do we go? What's the benefits? What's the negatives that come from this as well? So make sure to get tickets. Go there November 10th, the Cowtown Showdown. Darrell, anything else? I know that you got to go. So anything else you want to say to our viewers before we end off here tonight?
I think it's really important for people to understand that, I'm running very much to help unify the party, because I think that it's necessary for our members to have a voice to government. There's a lot to be read and said on my website, komick.org. I mean, even click on the theme song. I think I'll be the only candidate that will have enough songs for an album by the time we're done the next couple of weeks. So it's a lot of fun. Thanks for having me, Bruce. I appreciate you and your viewers so very much, and I look forward to talking to you again.
Thanks very much, Darrell. I'll let you go. I'll say goodbye to our audience, but I appreciate you taking the time, and I look forward to seeing you on the AGM, which was November 28th, 29th, and 30th in Edmonton. Thanks very much for being here. Good luck in the campaign, and we'll see you on the 10th as well. Okay,
thank you so
God bless.
Much.
Okay, take care. All right, everyone. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you participating in freedom, definitely for Alberta, but for Canada as well. God bless you. Make sure to share this information out, and let's stay sane together. Keep your head on a swivel. This is Bruce. You know what? Before I say out, I gotta talk about some other things. Amazing stuff going on in the news. I apologize for having the last 3 nights off. I needed the time. We had some family family get-togethers, so it was really important for me to take the time. And those times are very important for all of us to do. So make sure to take your own time for your family. And lots going on in the news cycle. Let me just talk about this briefly before I go. But certainly you're being distracted. We're all being distracted from some of the stuff that's going on. Obviously, the communist one in New York, some crazy lady Spanberger one in Virginia that and some other guy won in what was his role, but crazy stuff going on in the news cycle. Then you've got the whole Sweeney incident over the last couple of days. You've got to think that this is all the bread and circuses to keep you from noticing what's really going on. So let's stay sane together, folks. I hope that we'll see you at the UCP AGM in Edmonton. It'll be November 28th, 29th, and 30th, because we are going to take our province and create a nation. But we're going to have those conversations. So if it's not the right time, then it's not the right time. Also, you can check out the Cowtown Showdown coming up, and I'll just put this back on here just so that we can see it. I know Darrell had to go, but let me just show this on here. One moment. There we are. Cowtown Showdown, UCP at the, so you can find this at ucpcalgarylahe.ca. I think it's $10 to go, and it should be a good event. Always great, and you'll get to see a lot of the board directors for the AGM and get to ask them questions and express your interest or express your concerns. And you get a chance to meet some fantastic people, and hopefully I'll be there for a bit. We'll get to see some people in person. All right, I'll say goodnight, but I want to say thank you to all of you for participating and being here with me. What an amazing opportunity I have. I am so blessed. All right, let's stay sane together. Keep your head on a swivel. This is Bruce, and I'm out of here. We'll see you tomorrow night.
Thank you so much for watching Unscrew the News. I appreciate your participation in freedom in Canada. Share this information and help others to wake up. God bless.